So here in this verse we can see a very important principle in Krishna consciousness is explained. So Swayambhuva Manu, he had returned after handing over his daughter to Kardama Muni. And we saw that when he returned to his kingdom, everybody welcomed. All the citizens came to the main entrance, to the gate, and welcomed the king, because king is the representative of the Supreme Lord. And this city of Barhishmati, which was the capital of the kingdom where Manu ruled, it was considered to be very, very exalted city, not because of the opulence it had, not because of the wealth it had, but because it was associated with the Supreme Lord in terms of pastimes of the Lord. It was associated with the Lord because all the citizens in this city, they were performing yagnas with whatever gift they had achieved from the Supreme Lord. And here we find Swayambhuva Manu himself, as a great personality, is setting up this very important example for everyone to follow. Bhagavad Gita, we see, it is said by Lord Krishna himself, Yat yat acharati shreshtaha tat tat evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever act is performed by great personalities, general mass of people follow. Actually, this is so important. Today we find that those who are occupants of positions of leadership, they have no proper idea of what activities should be done, what should not be done. So they set improper examples, and then people who follow them, definitely they are also doomed. So that is explained in Bhagavatam, Andher yatha andher upniyamanam. That means blind leading another blind. That is the position today we are having. So Prabhupada is explaining that actually Manu, somebody can lower a little bit. Manu, he is the father of mankind. We are all descendants from Manu. That is how even this word in English, man, or in Sanskrit, Manushya, is derived from Manu. We are all descendants of Manu. So being our earlier ancestor, he has set up a very important example for all of us. And especially for those who are endowed with opulence, wealth, and varieties of different things, possessions one has in this material world. So those who are well situated especially should follow the example of Manu. What is the example Manu set? That when he came back to his kingdom, he very clearly demonstrated that actually he acknowledged that this great kingdom, the great opulence which he has got, the great empire which he has got, the wealth he has got, everything is the gift of the Lord. He never thought that this is all due to my endeavor, or this is all because of me. Or neither he thought that this is all my property. He acknowledged that all this gift is actually the gift of the Lord. And what did he do? When one acknowledges that all these gifts are from the Lord, this opulence, this wealth, then he worships the Supreme Lord and utilizes all those gifts in the service of the Lord. And actually that is called as devotional service. So this was a great example which was set by Swayambhuva Manu. Like here it is said, Kushakasha Mayam Barhir. He immediately spread, when he came back to the kingdom, he spread the Kusha and Kasha grasa, the asan, and Astirya Bhagavan Manuhu, the greatly fortunate Manu, what did he do? Ayajat. He immediately worshipped. Whom did he worship? Yagna Purusham, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate enjoyer of all sacrifices. Yagna Purusham, Lord Vishnu or Krishna. Why did he worship? What did he understand? What was his understanding? Labdhasthanam yato bhuvam. He acknowledged that actually this sthanam, this place, this empire which I am ruling, it is all labdha, it is all obtained by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he acknowledged that and he immediately worshipped. So this is a very important example which is set in here by Swayambhuva Manu. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains this very important principle. He says that there are 4 kinds of pious people who acknowledge the authority of the Lord. There are 4 kinds of impious people who do not acknowledge the authority of the Lord. Actually, acknowledging the authority of the Lord, acknowledging that everything is the gift of the Lord, the mercy of the Lord, is a first step in devotional service. It is the beginning of devotional service. That's what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, that there are 4 kinds of pious people. They acknowledge. When do they acknowledge? Even if they are in distress, they acknowledge and they worship the Supreme Lord to come out of the distress. When they are in need of money, they acknowledge the Supreme Lord and pray to Him to get out of those financial problem or distress like that. Or when they are inquisitive, or when they are desirous of knowledge, all of these people acknowledge Chatur Vidha Bhajante Mam Jana Sukritano Arjuna Arto Artharti Jignasu Gnanir Cha Bharatharshava. So these 4 kinds of people, they acknowledge the authority of the Lord. And the other 4 classes of people, the lowest of the mankind, Naradhama, those who are Asurim Bhavam, Dushkritinas, all these 4 classes of people, Mudha, they don't acknowledge the authority of the Lord. When they are in some kind of distress or when they are in need of something, they never acknowledge the authority of the Supreme Lord. So actually, devotional service begins when one at least acknowledges the authority of the Lord, when one acknowledges that everything in this material world we are obtaining is the gift from the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada very beautifully explains, why does the Lord want this acknowledgement? Why does the Lord want this acknowledgement? Actually, the Lord does not want any acknowledgement from the living entity. It is in the interest of the living entity that they should acknowledge the authority of the Supreme Lord. It is not that the Supreme Lord wants our acknowledgement. Prabhupada gives an example. Just like the affectionate or loving parents, they go on with their duties of supplying the needs of their children, and they are not looking for some acknowledgement from the children. But if the children acknowledges, thank you my dear father for providing me all these things, the father becomes pleased with that attitude. It is not that father has gained something from that acknowledgement, but rather in this loving reciprocation, the father becomes very pleased. Similarly, Prabhupada gives an example that even though millions and millions of living entities, they never acknowledge the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In animal life, where is the acknowledgement? The birds, the beasts, they have no idea that all these things are supplied by the Supreme Lord. Even in the most degraded form of life, everything is the gift of the Supreme Lord. That is what the Vedic literatures are saying. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko va bahunam vidadhati kaman. That one Supreme Personality of Godhead, He actually supplies the needs of all these innumerable living entities. So, all these innumerable living entities who are in the body of ignorant animals, plants, species of life, they are not acknowledging. But in spite of their acknowledgement, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord is supplying all their necessities. So this also very clearly shows He is not after acknowledgement. Not that if we don't acknowledge, then all our necessities will not be supplied. It is just like, even if a criminal does not acknowledge the government and he is put behind the bars, still all his necessities are supplied by the government, even though he does not acknowledge the government. So similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one may acknowledge, one may not acknowledge. In spite of that, the Supreme Lord supplies all our necessities, everything. In fact, Prabhupada explains that even the intelligence using which an atheist denies the Supreme Lord is also supplied by the Supreme Lord. The only difference is that such an atheist, he never recognizes this. Just like when Hiranyakashipu asked this question to Prahlad Maharaj, where are you getting this strength? Where are you getting this strength to deny my authority? So he said, from where you got the strength to deny the Supreme Lord's authority, from there only I am also getting the strength. Isn't it? Yes. So, Hiranyakashipu is also getting that strength to deny the Supreme Lord, also from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even though he is atheist asura, even then the Lord is supplying his necessities, everything. But to be grateful, to acknowledge these as a gift of the Supreme Lord, actually, this is the beginning of gentlemanliness. Otherwise, we are very ungrateful. Imagine somebody is giving you so many things, all your necessities are supplied by someone. You don't even acknowledge those gifts. And rather than not only not acknowledging, you're ungrateful, deny him, you're envious of him. What kind of personality is one? How much ungrateful one must be. So similarly, actually, Isha Vasyam idam sarvam yat kimcha jagatyam jagat. Everything in this material world is the property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything belongs to Him. Isha Vasyam idam sarvam. So, if we don't acknowledge this simple thing that actually everything belongs to Him, all those things, whatever we have got today in our possession, everything is the gift of the Supreme Lord. If we don't acknowledge, then according to Bhagavad Gita, it says, we are of the mentality of a criminal. In the chapter, in 13th chapter, I think, third chapter. In the third chapter, Krishna explains this. Ishtan bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yagna bhavitaha ter dattan apradaya ebhyaha yo bhungte stena eva saha. In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yagna, supply all necessities to men. But he who enjoys these gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. So, stena eva saha, he is actually called as a criminal or as a thief. Because it is just like, just because it is, we are in possession of those things, does not mean it belongs to me. That is what we have to understand. Just like if a cashier is in possession of lot of money, does it mean that it belongs to him? He has become the custodian for a certain reason. So similarly, all these different things are supplied to us for a certain cause, for a certain reason. And if we don't acknowledge that actually it belongs to somebody else, and we just enjoy them for ourselves, not understanding that actually they're given to me, so that rather than enjoying, if I utilize them in the service of the owner, the proprietor, then it becomes yagna. In the very next line, in the very next verse, Krishna says, the devotees of the Lord, they are not thieves. They become free from all sins. Why? Because they offer everything before they partake as yagna to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as an offering to the Supreme Lord. Yagna shishta shino shanta muchyante sarva kil vishai. The devotees, they are not affected by the results of whatever they obtain and they utilize. Why? Because they offer it to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is a very important thing. So Prabhupada is saying, similarly, this example which Swayambhuva Manu has set for us, actually it is for all mankind, but specially those who are endowed with some opulence, some wealth, some position, all of them actually should acknowledge and utilize all these things in the service of the Lord. Then one does not become bound by the activities he performs. Otherwise, whatever activities we perform in this material world, we are actually bound by the results of those activities. So Prabhupada is saying that is the way of utilizing wealth and opulence. So this Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shribhi, all these different kinds of opulences are certainly obtained by the mercy of the Lord. One must learn to recognize them and one must learn to utilize them in the service of the Lord. Prabhupada gives one very interesting example from our Vedic culture, how the people, they would acknowledge everything as the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So he says, in the Vedic culture, people used to, the farmers especially, the Vaishya community, they used to observe a ceremony which was called Nava Anna Prashna. So just like we all understand Ugadi and such festivals are celebrated, there used to be a ceremony called Nava Anna Prashna. So what is it? Prabhupada says, the Nava Anna Prashna ceremony is observed as a way to acknowledging the gifts of the Lord. So there used to be a ceremony itself to acknowledge all the abundant gift the Lord has provided. Newly collected grains would first be offered to the Lord by the villagers, either individually or collectively. And in either case, all the members of village would partake of the prasadam thus offered to the Lord. Such ceremonies make the people happy and prosperous. Simple act of acknowledgement. And actually, Prabhupada explains that grains specially, we cannot even manufacture. This is very simple to understand that actually grains are provided by the Supreme Lord. Isn't it? So next Prabhupada is saying, we should always acknowledge the mercy of the Lord. We should not think that we can produce ample food grains merely with the help of tractors and fertilizers. Correct? One may have good tractor, one may have fertilizers, all those things may be there. But still an intelligent man will understand if there is no rain, there cannot be grains. And the rain is not in our hand. The rain is provided by the Supreme Lord. So grain, the seeds of the grain and the rain, which is most important factor in the production of our crops, that is both of them is provided by the Supreme Lord. We may utilize some instruments like tractors, fertilizers, all those things. In fact, even the raw material of tractor, the raw material of fertilizer, that we may have changed that, we may, make them from some raw ingredient, we may transform them from one form to another. But the raw material of that is also provided by the Supreme Lord. The intelligence to make all those things is also provided by the Supreme Lord. So actually, if one analyzes properly, one can understand that actually everything is a gift of the Supreme Lord. So he must acknowledge. These can help us only as instrument for such production. Without the sanction of the Lord, there is no possibility of having grains, even if there are trucks and fertilizers. So, Prabhupada is explaining that Lord Krishna wanted to set this as an example personally in Vrindavan. So, with his own example, he showed that actually they were thinking that this food grains is provided by Indra. not understanding that actually Indra is just an instrument in the hand of the Lord. One has to understand that beyond the instrument is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like today's people are thinking by our fertilizer, by our trucks, by our tractors, we are doing. Isn't it? Not realizing that actually it is the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Similarly, this example Prabhupada says Krishna wanted to set to make people understand that actually Indra is just an instrument. The rain which is given by Indra is just an instrument. He is actually following the orders of the Supreme Lord. Isn't it? So Prabhupada explains that very important principle. When Lord Krishna and Baladeva were present, the good men of Vrindavan realized that it was due to the presence of the Lord that their supply of food grain was sufficient. The Lord made them to realize that. Some of the people of Vrindavan, including Lord Krishna's father Nanda Maharaj, used to perform sacrifices to King Indra, the king of heaven, because he is the controller of rains. Without good rains, grains cannot be produced. And therefore the people would offer sacrifice to Indra. Lord Shri Krishna, however, stopped this age-old ceremony and advised his father to offer the same sacrifice to the Supreme Lord. His purpose was to teach that we need not satisfy the various demigods in charge of various departments of cosmic affair. Instead, we must offer sacrifices to the Supreme Lord, for the Lord is the master and all others are his servants. You see? So this is very important, we can see. Similarly, in our own life as a devotees, actually, just like in yesterday's and day before yesterday's sessions, we have been hearing that devotees especially who are endowed with certain abilities, somebody may have a good ability of collection, somebody may have a good ability that he can memorize so many verses from Bhagavad Gita, Vedic literature, and he can quote them. Somebody may have an ability of good organization. You give him some service, he can organize very good and he can produce good results. Isn't it? Different abilities. Somebody may have a good ability of giving good lectures, and in YouTube and Facebook he may get hundreds and thousands of followers. Isn't it? All those things may be there. So, isn't it important to understand that actually all these abilities are not ours? All these different abilities are given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are all the gifts of the Supreme Lord. That is very important in devotional service to acknowledge it. Okay, grossly we may acknowledge water, sunlight, all these things, isn't it? It's very easy for us. Atheists do not even acknowledge that. But for devotees it is easy. That yes, prasadam is given by the Lord. Isn't it? Every day we are getting prasadam, it's all the mercy of the Lord. But sometimes we are not able to acknowledge these facts. We are thinking this ability is mine. I did so much collection for the temple and nobody is acknowledging this. But first of all, are you acknowledging that this ability is given by the Lord? When you are not acknowledging, why you want others to acknowledge your ability? Isn't it? Actually, devotee should be a silent worker. He does not want applauses. He does not want acknowledgement from others. That is one of a very important quality of a devotee. So much so that we see the example of Madhavendra Puri. When he understood that people will start acknowledging that Madhavendra Puri has obtained the mercy of the Lord, he immediately fled that place. That I will not be able to perform my devotional service properly. People will simply come, they will, that he is a great Mahatma, now let us get some Ashirwad from him. Isn't it? So that is how devotees should understand. So, grossly, it may be easy for us to acknowledge all these things. But these important things also devotees should acknowledge. That the ability in me, if I can memorize certain things, if I can organize certain things, if I can do some good collection, if I can do some whatever different kinds of services, these are all gifts of the Supreme Lord. That we must learn to acknowledge. When we understand that, then actually one does not become proud. It's a borrowed ability the Supreme Lord has provided. Then what is there to be proud about? It's not mine. If we think it is mine, then there is a question of becoming proud. When one understands it is all the Supreme Lord. Now I may be custodian. It is in my custody. Now it depends on me how much I gratify and how much I give it as a service to the Lord. That's why devotional service is called without reservation. Nothing should be reserved for sense gratification. Everything one should understand is the gift of the Lord, and everything should be utilized in the service of the Lord. Then actually it is possible that one can do wonders. Pangur langhayate girim. Correct? When one understands that actually everything is the gift of the Lord, we can see that just like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, what a wonderful literature he has written. At the practically ripened age, he's saying, I am not even able to see properly, not able to write properly. But Pangur Langayate Girim Yat Kripa, it is all by the mercy of the Lord. That even if we don't have abilities, if we are sincerely acknowledging everything to be the gift of the Lord, then the Lord will even bestow whatever we lack. Correct? Whatever we lack also the Lord may give us. So those are all secondary things. Primary is to understand, to offer whatever we have. Whatever we have. And then whatever we don't have, the Lord will provide. First of all, acknowledge whatever we have as a gift of the Lord and utilize that in the service of the Lord. That is very important. So, this is an important principle which we can see here. That he never considered his kingdom, Swayambhuva Manu never considered his kingdom to be his property. And Prabhupada says, actually monarchy was finished when the king started thinking, this is my property. The moment he lost this understanding and perception that actually everything is the mercy of the Lord, gift of the Lord, everything should be utilized in the service of the Lord. When this understanding was lost, monarchy was finished. And then they became, people were not satisfied with such kind of rulers who thought that everything is their property and everything should be utilized for their sense gratification. So we'll stop with this Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.